Okay, so we're gonna make a face mask. I have fabric, a ruler, a pencil, scissors, ribbon, and elastic. You also need pins to hold things in place, and if you have it, a sewing machine. Otherwise, a sewing needle would do. The dimensions I'm using are 7 by 9. So I'm gonna do one layer of this fabric and one layer of this fabric, since these are kind of Eastery spring colors. Basically, it's a rectangle with 2 pieces of elastic on it. So one trick I've been doing is cutting out my rectangle on one piece of fabric, and then you just lay that over your other fabric and you cut them out without having to measure on the second piece. I like having 2 different kinds of fabric so it's reversible, so you can have one look on one day and a different look on another. So I was lucky enough to have some fabric laying around, but if you don't have fabric, you can use an old t-shirt, a pillowcase you don't like to use anymore, bed sheets, or whatever fabric you have laying around. So the tricky thing to remember is the fabric you want on the outside, you're gonna put on the inside like a sandwich. But you have to put the elastic in the middle. So the elastic length I've seen on most of the patterns has been 7 inches long, so we're just gonna stick with that. And since it's elastic, don't pull it, because then you might have one piece longer than the other. These are the sides that we want to see when we turn it inside out. So I lay the elastic part on the bottom, and then I'm gonna grab a pin so I can pin it when I lay this over the top. So if you can see, it's like a sandwich. So you have the bottom layer, the elastic, and the top layer. And it doesn't have to be quite exact, but you want to be able to sew over it in the corner. Something else we need to remember is we need to have room to flip it inside out. So I mark 2 points on one of the long sides of the rectangle that you're not going to sew, so that you can turn this inside out. Make sure that you backstitch over your elastic, since it's going to be tugged and pulled on more than once to make sure it's secure. So the hole that we left open is so that we can turn it inside out, just like if you were turning a shirt inside out. So I don't do this in any precise sort of way, but we're going to make folds in the fabric so it looks like a face mask, and so that we take this rectangle piece of fabric to cover our faces that are 3-dimensional. Okay, we're all done. And here is the finished face mask.